Hello. My goodness, everybody's interested to hear about what Tricia's up to. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Artman's Two Birds, KKB, M Spacebird, Aimski, the Blowing Bookworm Gamer, Michelle the Mattis, HMS Gen X Lady, CHCH. Everybody's here. Kelly. Andy Copso was here, but she had to go sleep. I think she's overseas at the minute. I think I've said hello to everybody, but if I didn't, Old Woman of the Hills, hello. Nice to see everybody. So yeah, I just was, this morning I was thinking, I'll have to mention on my live this afternoon that it's Tricia's Hearing Eve. And then I thought, hey, I'll just pop on over there. Hey, Groovy Shoes. Oh, Chin Plant. Nice to see you. New name, Groovy Shoes. I like the new name. And Grammy B. Nice to see you. Random Old Lady. Brenda K. Bookman. Sorry. What a bummer to hear. Sorry to hear that. Two birds fighting off a migraine. That sucks. Jen Manos. Nice to see you. Hello, Kathy White. HMS Gen X Lady. Happy go ducky I am. Yay. Yeah, so I thought, I'm going to have to mention that it's Tricia's Hearing Eve. And then I thought, I'll just pop over to the docket. And lo and behold, at 9:30 this morning, Tricia's lawyers posted this response in opposition to Linda Mills' motion in limine regarding Patricia Griffith's standing, and then also Patricia Griffith's affidavit. So nice to see you, Jazzcast. Molly Colleen, everybody's here. Yeah, everybody's, what is going on? Yeah, so I guess she didn't want people to get a hold of it, right? She waited till the very last minute. That would be my guess, why it's only just been posted today. But we're on top of it. Hey, Bruce the Moose is in the hoose. Did Tricia find Beth Bee's garage door openers at the CrimeCon slot machines? I actually don't know. I'm hoping that we're going to find that information in here, Bruce. The gang is all here. Yeah, pretty great. So yeah, I have no particular credentials. I'm an ex-mechanic with an English degree. I have experience of toxic people. Tricia is a toxic person. Hey, Lucia. And I'm just here doing this. These are just my opinions. We're just here for entertainment. Please like, share, subscribe, all the fun things. There's links for penny chats in the shared or in the pinned chat. And otherwise, a like is also good. So far, nobody thinks that Tricia's going to win her suit except for 6% of 47 votes. I mean, I don't think it's, hey, Janice. Nice to see you. I definitely don't think it's a foregone conclusion. But she said the electricity is off. Who did? Tricia? Oh, God. Is she begging for electricity money? Sorry, I just got a little distracted here. Thank goodness Olap got a lot of her streams. Yeah. And we do have the ones that of the field trips. I sent one of the field trip videos to Linda Mills' lawyer ages ago, like before she even deleted anything, ages ago. And then I think it was the second one, and then the first one. Anyway, also Andy Copsa was saying, so she did it live a few weeks ago where she did all the deep diving into Tricia's, property taxes and all that stuff. And she found that Tricia had not paid property taxes for several years, and Beth Bee paid them, just short of Tricia losing, like her house going up for auction because it had been so long since she paid any taxes. Bruce the Moose says maybe if we get Tricia's electricity turned back on, we can restore Ping's memory at the same time. I don't know. That might be kind of a big ask, as Megan would say. Right. So Janet paid her. Was it Jan? Yeah, it was Janet paid her taxes, and apparently that is not. She doesn't mention that in any of these things. And maybe, hey, Lemon Baked, Maybe Ginny quilted it. Nice to see you. Andy Copsa hinted at somebody going to the hearing. I believe it's a Zoom hearing. I tried to get access to it and I couldn't find any way. Like, it literally seemed like it was only the only Zoom access was being provided for lawyers. So I don't know. Anyways, I just wanted to go over this. It's all, I don't have anything else from Tricia. If you guys know, she posted the other day, you probably mostly have seen it, about how people have been telling lies about her online, and we're all these terrible people who have ganged up on her and made her feel awful. And then she's gone off her fucking meds in the comments, attacking people who disagreed with her or who, suggested things. She said some extremely ugly things about Tricia that I will not share here. I don't know. She may have deleted them by now. If she was smart, she will have. But other than that, we've just got this little affidavit here. So, well, we've got the motion in. This is the first one here. Patricia Griffith's response in opposition to Linda Mills' motion in limine regarding Patricia Griffith's standing. So I'm just going to go ahead and start reading. So in section 1, introduction, Linda Mills's motion in limine challenging Patricia Griffith's standing is substantively without merit. Ms. Griffith is an interested person under the Texas Estates Code with standing to oppose Ms. Mills' application for letters of administration. So she's still contesting, like, who is going to administer the estate. Ms. Griffith qualifies as a creditor of the estate of Janet Wolford based on her uncompensated provision of daily care, companionship, and household services to the decedent over multiple years in reliance on the decedent's express promises to convey her home and a portion of her IRA, and seeks relief through an equitable claim in breach of contract, quantum meruit, or promissory estoppel for the beneficial labor rendered by Patricia Griffith and knowingly accepted by the decedent. So I'm just going to read you a couple of definitions so that you know what she's claiming. So quantum meruit is, the definition is, it's a Latin term referring to the reasonable amount of money to be rendered for services or work when the amount due is not specifically expressed in a contract. And promissory estoppel allows a promisee to recover damages when they reasonably and detrimentally relied on a promise, and the promiser could have reasonably foreseen that reliance. It applies when enforcing the promise is necessary to avoid injustice. So these are what she's claiming, right? That she deserves to be paid, and that if she's not paid, she's going to be in trouble and there will be injustice. The Texas Estate Code explicitly defines interested person to include creditors and any other having a property right in or claim against an estate being administered. Ms. Griffith's asserted claim against the estate confers standing to participate in these proceedings, including the right to oppose Ms. Mills' application for appointment as administrator. No administrator has yet been appointed to this estate. The decedent's will has been submitted for probate. However, both named executors predeceased the decedent. Ms. Griffith's creditor claim arises from services she provided to the decedent beginning in May 2021, when she relocated from Utah to Texas at the decedent's request and in reliance on the decedent's promises. Ms. Griffith cooked, cleaned, did laundry, provided transportation and car care, cared for the decedent's dog and her friend Peter, accompanied the decedent to the grocery store, ran errands, filled prescriptions, and provided general companionship to the decedent. Molly Colleen, we're just getting there. She's asking for the house and part of the IRA. Yeah, because Tricia says so, right? So where's the proof? I assume that she will have exhibits that are supposed to prove these things, random old lady. That's my guess. Kelly Cal says, I can't believe this is happening. Yeah, I'm a little shocked myself. Just me, says liar. Things that friends do. Yeah, things that I did for my foster mom before she passed away. and would do again in a heartbeat for as long and as often as she needed them. Yeah. Molly Colleen says, I think she'd need a written record of the compensation agreement between her and Beth Bee. I feel like that's the case, right? Like she needs some kind of actual signed witnessed document, not just texts or whatever. But anyway, in exchange, the decedent promised to give Miss Griffith the decedent's home and a little chunk of money from the decedent's IRA. Ms. Griffith has not yet filed a formal claim because no personal representative has been appointed to whom such a claim must be presented. The Texas Estates Code permits a claim to be presented to a personal representative at any time before the estate is closed, if suit on the claim has not been barred by the general statutes of limitation. The absence of a formal claim does not deprive Miss Griffith of standing as an interested person. The court should deny Ms. Mills' motion in limine and permit Ms. Griffith to participate fully in these proceedings, including her opposition to Ms. Mills' application for letters of administration. Wild, eh? Michelle DeMattis says she will not win this. What a disgusting human being. I would do this for my friend and wouldn't want anything in return. And this Bee is taking this to court. Wow, just wow. And Lucia says Tricia is likely far worse than we're aware of. Well, based on the shit that she was talking about Tricia the other day, I would venture that she is exactly much, much worse than we have even been made aware so far. Yeah, things I did for my old landlord, actually, a few years ago when I was living in Hope and my landlord had a cancer diagnosis. Yeah. The two things she's arguing are for when there is not a signed clear agreement. Yeah, but I mean, isn't there something? I mean, doesn't there have to be something? I mean, I do, right? Like, I mean, if I feel like if Beth Bee had wanted to take care of Tricia to that extent, that she would have arranged that, right? I don't see what would have stopped her if that's what she wanted. Yeah, exactly. So she deserves over $300K in Beth's house equity and more cash. Insane. Yeah, it just doesn't have to be assigned something. Like, it doesn't have to be. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I don't have legal knowledge, but it does seem a little, what sort of proof would she have to have? Just, oh, that's what Beth said or what Janet said. Anyway, section 2, statement of facts. Kelly, that question was directed at you. If you have an answer, that would be great. Hey, Rosalie Nelson. In May 2021, Patricia Griffith moved from her home in Utah to Texas. Miss Griffith left her family, friends, and support system in Utah at Miss Wolford's request and in reliance on Miss Wolford's express promises. In 2021, and she died in 2025, and in 4 years, she never made that right in her will. That seems a little weird to me. Ms. Wolford promised Ms. Griffith that in exchange for providing daily services to Ms. Wolford and Ms. Wolford's friend Peter, Ms. Wolford would give Ms. Griffith her home and a little chunk of money from Ms. Wolford's IRA. From May 2021 through Ms. Wolford's death on May 16th, 2025, Ms. Griffith hung around looking for scraps and hoping to get something for nothing. Sorry, that's not what it says. From May 2021 through Ms. Wolford's death on May 16th, 2025, Ms. Griffith provided extensive daily services to Ms. Wolford. These services included cooking, doing laundry, cleaning house, providing transportation and car care, caring for Ms. Wolford's dog, taking Ms. Wolford and Peter to the grocery store, running daily errands, filling prescriptions, and providing general companionship to Ms. Wolford. Remember how she didn't seem to know which window was the window into the kitchen when she went on her field trip over there? I feel like if she had been performing extensive daily chores, she would know which window was the kitchen. Yeah, right? Just Me says, you're trying to tell me that the woman who talked about rodents fighting over chips under her bed cleaned for her? Yeah, right? Or did a good job. Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. Indeed. No, indeed. A will purportedly executed by Ms. Wolford has been submitted for probate. However, both executors named in that will predeceased Ms. Wolford. No personal representative has been appointed to the estate. Linda Mills has filed an application for letters of administration. Ms. Griffith has not yet filed a formal claim for money against the estate because no personal representative has been appointed to receive such a claim. Ms. Griffith, however, filed an objection to Ms. Mills' application for appointment as administrator. Legal standard. She did, Brenda K. Brenda K says, didn't she say Janet asked her to leave? Yes, she did. And she was like, oh no, you're just crazy. I'm staying anyway to take care of you. CH says, give over your phone, Tricia, and prove it with a phone extraction showing how often you were there at the pharmacy, etc. Marissa Monroe says, I thought she started helping out toward the very end. I mean, I'm sure this thing is filled with lies. We know what a liar the woman is, so there's no reason to think that she would be telling the truth in this situation. Legal standard, section 3, legal standard. Standing challenges in probate proceedings are appropriately addressed through a plea to the jurisdiction, a motion to dismiss, or a hearing held in limine, that is, as a threshold matter before reaching the merits. In Estate of Hill. Oh, that's the reference anyway. Standing is a component of subject matter jurisdiction and may be raised at any time. In probate proceedings, only an interested person may bring an action to challenge a proceeding. When standing is challenged, the burden is on the party whose standing is challenged to prove that she is an interested person. The Texas Estates Code defines interested person or person interested as an heir, devisee, spouse, creditor, or any other having a property right in or claim against an estate being administered. To have a standing in a probate proceeding, a party must have a pecuniary interest in the estate, either as an heir, devisee, spouse, creditor, or other party with a property right or claim against the estate. The Estates Code permits any interested person to file an opposition to an application for letters of administration at any time before the application is granted. On the trial, the court shall grant letters to the person that seems best entitled to the letters. When a party asserts standing as a creditor, she must demonstrate a claim against the estate. The Estates Code broadly defines those entitled to participate as creditors or other claimants. An interested person includes anyone having a claim against the estate being administered. So I'm thinking, like, is an affidavit, Kelly Kell, is an affidavit is considered evidence, right? Like, would that be her evidence, her statement? That's kind of how I'm. Hello, Subtext Press, Braunfoth, Caltato, the Bethy Boop. Nice to see everybody. Section 4, argument. A, Ms. Griffith is an interested person under the Texas Estates Code as a creditor with a claim against the estate. Ms. Griffith has standing to oppose Ms. Mills's application for letters of administration because she is a creditor with a claim against the estate of Janet Wolford. The Texas Estates Code explicitly provides that creditors are interested persons entitled to participate in probate proceedings. Ms. Griffith's claim arises from her provision of services to the decedent over multiple years in reliance on the decedent's express promises to convey her home and a portion of her IRA. No fucking wonder she is going so hard for this. Hi, Bunny Tum. Nice to see you. She wants that fucking house. Unbelievable. The definition of interested person in the Estates Code is broad and inclusive. Probate proceedings are actions in rem and bind all persons unless set aside in a manner provided by law. And the Estates Code generally allows joinder of all persons interested in an estate. The Estates Code defines interested persons to include heirs, devisees, spouses, creditors, or any other person having a property right in or claim against the estate being administered. Ms. Griffith qualifies as a creditor under this definition. She provided valuable services, cooking, cleaning, laundry, transportation, errands, companionship, and care for the decedent and the decedent's household, for which the decedent promised specific compensation in the form of real property and a distribution from the decedent's IRA. Ms. Griffith relocated from Utah to Texas, leaving her family and friends in reliance on these promises. The decedent received the benefit of Ms. Griffith's services, but did not fulfill her promises during her lifetime. Ms. Griffith therefore has a claim for the value of services rendered or for specific performance of the decedent's promises. The fact that Ms. Griffith has not yet filed a formal claim does not deprive her of standing. A claim may be presented to a personal representative of an estate at any time before the estate is closed, if suit on the claim has not been barred by the general statutes of the limitation. I wonder about, does anybody remember what she said about going there, like during the Woo Woo Saturday night or during the 2 field trip videos? Does anybody remember what she said about moving to be near Beth? Because I feel like she said, she did it because she's such a great friend, right? Kelly Kell says, if the arrangement was meant to be paid after lifetime, then the judge will ask why she didn't do that. Like why didn't she change her will? She had 5 years to do it. She made the promise before she moved out there, right? And Tricia just was like, oh, I'm just going to go on her word. I'm going to uproot my entire life and leave all my friends and my family and my support system just because she said that, not without any actual written proof of it. Hypnotizes Lobster says, I know she slept in her car and said she proves it. Yeah, why didn't she change the will? So she literally had 4 years. She said May 2021 to May 2025. That's 4 years. Going to help a friend who just paid all your back taxes. Yes, CH. Great point, Subtext Press says, quoting Tricia. But if she were here, she'd be telling me, don't do it, don't worry about it, and just move on. And I'm like, that's what she'd be telling me. Yeah, exactly. Hello, HMS. Hello, Dreamfeed Media. You're talking to HMX Genesis Lady. Unfortunately, my husband, he thinks the gems are too aggressive. Yeah, they are. Promises like that are made in legal form. That's what I'm saying. Like, who uproots and moves across the country on a promise of something like that hasn't been. Beth Bee paid her property taxes, bought her and her crew new laptops, bought Tricia's background, and God knows how much more. She's disgusting. Yes, she is. Yeah, I think your husband has a point. Dreamfeed Media. Anyway, carrying on. No personal representative has been appointed to this estate, so no claim can yet be formally presented. The estate's code contemplates that creditors may participate in proceedings before formal claims are filed, as evidenced by the statute permitting any interested person to file an opposition to an application for letters of administration at any time before the application is granted. The statute of limitations has been told. The deaths of a person against whom there may be a cause of action suspends the running of an applicable statute of limitation for 12 months after the death. If an executor or administrator qualifies before the expiration of that period, the statute of limitations begins to run at the time of the qualification. Here, no personal representative has qualified, so the statute of limitations remains tolled. I think I'm guessing that means that they have stopped the clock on the statute of limitations. Is that right, Kelly Co? Ms. Griffith's claim is timely and viable. The Texas courts have recognized that standing as a creditor depends on the existence of a claim, not on the formal filing of that claim. In Re Davidson, the court held that a party asserting a counterclaim for damages against an estate qualified as a creditor under the statutory definition of interested person. The court stated that an interested person includes an heir, devisee, spouse, creditor, or any other having a property right in or claim against an estate being administered. Don't keep your knowledge to yourself, Kelly Kell, please. I am expressly asking for your knowledge. You don't sound annoying at all, just saying. Not at all. I am grateful for your knowledge because I don't have any. I'm just reading this thing and, I have some common sense and a dictionary, but that's it. Ms. Griffith's claim for unpaid services is analogous. She has a claim against the estate and therefore qualifies as an interested person. Ms. Mills cannot defeat Ms. Griffith's standing by challenging the merits of her claim. Standing depends on the assertion of a colorable claim, not on the ultimate success of that claim. Ms. Griffith has alleged facts sufficient to state a claim for breach of contract, quantum meruit, or promissory estoppel. The court need not resolve the merits of that claim to determine that Ms. Griffith is an interested person with standing to oppose Ms. Mills' application. B. Ms. Griffith has the right to oppose Ms. Mills' application for letters of administration. Is possible there. He said told, like TOLLED, not rolled. I wonder if that's, oh, you got it. There it is. Yeah. Thanks, Kelly Cal. Awesome. The Texas Estates Code expressly provides that an interested person may, at any time before an application where letters of administration is granted, file an opposition to the application in writing. On the trial, the court shall grant letters to the person that seems the best entitled to the letters. Ms. Griffith, as a creditor and interested person, is entitled to be heard on whether Ms. Mills is the person best entitled to administer the estate. The estate's code permits a creditor to file an application for letters of administration of an estate. Another interested person who does not desire the administration can defeat the creditor's application by paying the creditor's claim, proving to the court's satisfaction that the creditor's claim is fictitious, fraudulent, illegal, or barred by limitation, or executing a bond. Although that provision addresses an application filed by a creditor, it demonstrates the legislature's intent to permit creditors to participate meaningfully in the selection of the personal representative. That seems weird to me that they're going to let somebody with a claim, whether they've proven that they have an actual claim or not, have a say in the administrator. It seems weird. What somebody says here. Well, I sent her some receipts, Marissa. I sent her one of the field trip videos, and that was a long time ago. Like, that was ages ago. And they may have had the sense at that point to go and check out her lives and download some of the videos themselves. I hope she did. But yeah, anyway. Ms. Griffith has a legitimate interest in who is appointed to administer the estate. The personal representative will control estate assets, including the home the decedent promised to Ms. Griffith and the IRA from which the decedent promised a distribution. The personal representative will also respond to Ms. Griffith's claim and determine whether to approve or contest it. Ms. Griffith is entitled to oppose the appointment of a personal representative she believes may not act impartially or in the best interests of creditors and other interested persons. C. The motion in limine is improper and or premature. Ms. Mills's use of a motion in limine to challenge standing is procedurally improper. A motion in limine is a pretrial motion seeking exclusion of evidence. Standing, by contrast, is a jurisdictional question that goes to the court's authority to hear a claim. When standing is challenged before a trial on the merits, the party whose standing is challenged must support allegations of interest with proof, or the suit must be dismissed. However, the appropriate procedural vehicle for such a challenge is not a motion in limine, but a plea to the jurisdiction or a hearing held in limine as a threshold matter. Moreover, the challenge is premature. Ms. Griffith has alleged facts sufficient to establish that she is a creditor with a claim against the estate. I don't know if they can use stuff from other court cases. Molly Colleen, I'm not sure about that. Maybe Kelly Kell can help us. In reviewing standing, the court takes the factual allegations as true and construes them in favor of the pleader. In addition to the pleadings, the court may consider relevant evidence to resolve the jurisdictional issues raised. In reviewing standing, the court takes the factual allegations as true. So they just believe anybody who comes along and says, hey, I have a claim? Like what? Sorry? That doesn't make sense to me. Am I misunderstanding that? Ms. Griffith is prepared to prevent evidence of the services she provided, the promises the decedent made, and her reliance on those promises. See attached Tricia Griffith's sworn affidavit, Exhibit A, in support thereof, and incorporated for all purposes and pleadings. This evidence establishes her pecuniary interest in the state. The court should deny the motion in limine and permit the proceedings to go forward with Ms. Griffith as a participant. No wonder she didn't want this stuff posted until today, hey? This is crazy. It's fucking crazy. She's asking for the house, Maury. She's asking for the house and a chunk of the IRA. Conclusion, Section 5, Conclusion and Prayer for Relief. Patricia Griffith is a creditor with a claim against the estate of Janet Wolford. She qualifies as an interested person under the Texas Estates Code and has standing to oppose Linda Mills's application for letters of administration. The motion in limine is procedurally improper and substantively without merit. Wherefore, premises considered, Patricia Griffith respectfully requests that this court deny Linda Mills's motion in limine challenging Ms. Griffith's standing, permit Ms. Griffith to participate fully in these proceedings, including her opposition to Ms. Mills's application for appointment as administrator, and grant such other and further relief at law or in equity to which Ms. Griffith may be justly entitled. So, pretty fun. So now we get to the affidavit. Kelly Kell says, I don't think she'll be dismissed right away. I'm afraid, but of course I don't know, but it's not nothing. Evidence is Tricia said so. Yeah, it seems to be. And they seem to be arguing that because she said so, the judge has to take her word for it. That's what I understood. Bobo's Roo says, yes, any person can file as a creditor against the estate. It can be argued against in hearing. Miss Mills has to respond. Yeah, I mean, anybody can, but they don't. I mean, I don't know. That sounds very weird to me that it sounded like they're claiming that the court has to take their word for it, that what they're saying is true. Did you send the transcripts, Dreamfeed Media? It says, my video transcripts of Tricia's field trips are very clear. I sent her one of the videos. I think it was the second one. And she paid all the back taxes. Yes, she did. She's always claimed to be a creditor, but why would this somehow invalidate Daphne's motion? I don't understand. They're saying it's procedurally wrong, and I couldn't answer that. Wasn't the correct. Hey, Salty Sleuth. Wasn't the correct way to do what they were attempting to do. So this is now Tricia's affidavit. In the estate of Janet Wolford, deceased, in the probate court number 3, Dallas County, Texas, affidavit in support of response to motion in limine. Patricia Griffith personally appeared before me and stated under oath, my name is Patricia Griffith. I am over the age of 18. I am competent to testify and therefore make this affidavit. This affidavit is based on my personal knowledge and the facts are true and correct. I have known the decedent Janet Wolford since 2017 when we met on a true crime discussion website that I manage. We immediately hit it off and were soon talking and texting every day. I visited Janet many times over the next few years, helping her with various tasks and providing companionship. Like, when did you visit her? What are the dates? What are the tasks you helped her with? I would be interested to know those things personally. At the time I was living in Utah and Janet lived in Texas, Janet told me about her friend's son, Peter, who was in poor health. Janet told me, is this the kidney guy? Is this Kyle the kidney? Janet told me that she had promised her friend that she would always take care of him and his sister Lily. Janet expressed to me that because of her age, she was having great difficulty in caring for Peter. In early 2021, Janet admitted to me that she could no longer keep up with her own daily tasks as well as taking care of Peter. Janet asked me to permanently move to Dallas to help her with daily needs with Peter and with her dog. I told Janet that I could not survive there, that I have no support system in Texas, that no friends or family lived there, and the cost of living was far too great for my income. Janet insisted if I were to move to Texas, that she would pay for my housing and whatever else I needed and give me the house that she lives in, a little chunk of her IRA, and her car Rex. I agreed and moved to Dallas at the end of May 2021, leaving my life in Utah behind. My decision to move to Texas was based on these promises she made to me, and I didn't bother to get anything in writing because I am just that trusting. Hey, Spit and Spooge, Betsy Tag. Nana of 13, great kids. Wow. Everybody's here. Hybrid Pisces. All right. Janet and I found a small home about 15 minutes away from her house for me to stay, which was about an hour from Peter's residence. Over the next 4 years, I would go to Janet's house 3 to 7 days per week to cook, clean, do her laundry, care for her dog, pick up her prescription medication, go to the grocery store, run errands, take her to the doctor, set up and maintain her life alert, give her company and companionship, and just help her with anything she happened to need. If I wasn't taking care of Janet, I was helping Peter for Janet. I feel like she was also running her website, wasn't she? And her YouTube channel and going live every night. On March 6, 2024, Janet sent me a text message asking me to be the trustee of her estate. I agreed, and she told me that she would have Linda Mills, her financial advisor and friend, have it drafted up. Shortly thereafter, Janet told me that the little chunk she was going to give me from the IRA was going to be a 20% share. Isn't that interesting? Early in 2025, as Janet's cancer progressed, I started spending, she hasn't mentioned cancer yet. That's weird. I started spending 8 to 10 hours a day at her home because she refused to go to the hospital or seek treatment. In May 2025, I began spending the night with Janet to care for her. That's it. That's it. So, yeah, I don't know what that means in terms of, sorry, I will quit doing that. Right? Isn't that the case, right? Didn't she claim that? CH says, Beth didn't tell you she had cancer. Didn't she say that she didn't know because she was so private? She said she never told her she was dying. Right. She didn't know that she had cancer until closer to her death. I think the affidavit makes it worse, Kelly Kell. Okay, good to know. Why does it make it worse, Kelly Kell? Be very interested. Right? This is why she's deleted all those. That's why she deleted all those phone calls, not just because of I stole the person, the phone, and I'm going over there and acting like a psycho in my car and claiming that there's 7-figure fraud taking place. It was also because of all the fucking details that she gave out that could then be used against her. A.B. Maitland says she thought she was coming home from the hospital. Mad chatter. Hopefully someone has those clips saved. Well, we have the videos saved. Dream Feed Media, sir, I never did see your answer, or if you answered, if you sent those transcripts to Daphne or to Linda Mills. And who paid? Yeah, well, who paid for the small house, as if we can't guess. Yeah. Tricia was paying her rent and back taxes. She was already given some kind of compensation. Yeah, I mean, Michelle says, why wouldn't she just move in with her if she was providing all these services? Well, interesting, in one of the things that she says in the one of the field trip videos is she's laughing about it. It's so hilarious that she would be over there. She went over there to help Janet when she fell, and Janet insisted that she wanted Tricia to leave, and Tricia was like, "Oh ho ho," and then she just ignored her and stayed anyway, right? Because obviously she doesn't know what she needs. Yeah, I didn't hear a promise, says Kelly Kell. I'm curious, like, where's does the where is the evidence? Like, don't they have to have it? Well, aren't there supposed to be some exhibits or whatever? The only thing she mentioned there was one text message, right? Oh, thanks, Bruce the Moose. That's nice of you. Appreciate that. 5 Dreadful Penny memberships. Awesome. Oh, I forgot to go check the poll. What's going over on the poll? Yeah, nobody seems to think she's going to win, which is hardly surprising. I don't know, though. I mean, I don't know. What's the Hollywood ending? Yeah, Marissa Monroe. Everybody, this is what I'm saying, right? Why this is why it takes a village, because there's so many parts of all of this. The evidence is in Tricia's greedy little brain, says Inner Psychic. Yeah, like what is... I don't understand. Don't they have to present evidence for this? Carolina Hurtado. Hi, Penny and everybody. Hey, good to see you. Nana of 13 Great Kids says, I sure hope she doesn't win, but she always seems to get ahead with other people's money. Yeah, she sure does, right? I mean, she got bailed out of her last nightmare by Helen, right? By Helen the nun, Helen Ross. She said Janet gave her credit card to get 60. Wonder if she was taking more out. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Tricia was talking about Beth Bee and said it will be a Hollywood ending. Yeah, I remember that, right? I remember that. That's why I was saying it takes so many people. There's so many pieces. Like, I had forgotten about that until she mentioned it. It's hard to keep it all in your mind. Glam Dolly says, I feel Tricia's false claims about moving to Texas to help Janet would be more believable if she had moved into Janet's house. That Janet rented her a place confirms she was rescuing Tricia. Yeah, that's what it feels like to me, too. Maury says, Beth caught her taking cash out of her purse, too, to pay the gardener. Oh, yeah. Right? God, there's so much. Oh, my God. I just pray. I just hope and pray that Daphne Linda Mills went and got the evidence from those videos to refute all of this bullshit. She told the whole world her intentions. Yeah, she sure did. And then she dirty deleted all that, the Bethy Boop. Indy Cindy, nice to see you. Indy Cindy says, this is about the judge getting answers out of Tricia and saying that she can't come back with prejudice. Oh, okay. Hey, Carolyn Breeding. Hang on, the random old lady's telling us a story here. Where did it start? Oh, I can't find it. Sorry. Yeah, it's all pretty crazy, hey? Did she freak out over CC Suarez? Did CC Suarez do something about Tricia? Did I miss that? How is that? What's going on? Did CC Suarez do? I don't remember her doing Tricia. Indy Cindy says it's not about Tricia getting money this time. It's about her never being able to come back with a without prejudice ruling that her lawyer wants. Right. Okay, I didn't see that. Well, Cece's... Oh, when did she do that? How did I miss it? My God, how did I miss it? I am subscribed to her. She's constantly coming up in my feed. How did I miss it? Cece did a great video right before the end of the world party. Okay, good to know. No, I haven't seen it. Oh my goodness. Well, that's something to look forward to. She is, she's great. She does a pretty good deep dive. And that must be who she is freaking out about. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, right after CrimeCon. Oh, good to know. How did I miss it? 24-hour live. She woke up to it crying, says Michelle. Oh, let's watch it. Okay, let's watch it. Let's go find it. Okay, let's look it up. Hang on. What's it? Anybody have any idea what it was called? I punched in Tricia, but it doesn't show. Oh, there she is. Oh, maybe I did watch it. Looks like I watched some of it. Oh. Hang on.
True crime podcasters, YouTube sleuths, commentators, Reddit investigators. But one woman got there first. Tricia Griffith has been running websleuths.com for over 20 years. She calls herself the godmother of true crime. Her forum has helped solve a few cases here and there. Law enforcement agencies have credited it, and at times, the media has celebrated her. But there's another story here that plays out in court documents, probate filings, and deposition transcript. A story about sad fishing, manipulating community members, and potential alleged, very much so alleged, elder abuse, and possibly some gambling addiction. Who knows? Now, a quick disclaimer. You can like web sleuths. You can like anyone or any entity that I make a video about. That's fine. We all like different content. Heck, I love the Just Trish podcast, and I know a good amount of my audience despises Tricia Paytas. But hey, that's okay. We all don't have to like the same things. That's fine. Completely okay. And as always, this is not slander, libel, defamation, bullying, harassment, anything like that. I'm simply putting out my opinions and showing you receipts of how I got there, so to say. And obviously anecdotal evidence and other people's opinions and the general discourse online ending as well. Web Sleuths launched in 1999, and it wasn't Tricia Griffith's idea. She didn't build it from scratch by her own account. She paid approximately $1,500 for it in 2004, buying it from its original founder. What she inherited was, in her own words, a snake pit. Hostile, chaotic. It had 2 active forums where she saw potential: JonBenet Ramsey and Lacey Peterson.
Hey everyone, welcome to Web Sleuths YouTube Live. We have got such a great live stream for you tonight. My name is Tricia Griffith, and I get to manage this amazing site. It's called websleuths.com. It's a true crime discussion site. It's open 24/7. It's moderated 24/7. So if there's any bullies or any jerks on there, you know, we take care of them as quickly as possible. And we have tens of thousands, well,
6 hours, 17 minutes. She's crying in part 1 of the live stream, Indelible Blue. Now I feel like I need to go look at that. Holy smokes. All the fun people are here today. Jasmina D says, Gemini summary. Without a written contract or a will, the caregiver has no legal standing to claim the house or additional funds from the estate through a Utah court. And let's hope that that's true. Yes, she cries while watching it for sympathy. Okay. I'm going to go look for her crying. 6 hours and 17 minutes. Is that what you said? Let me just go back. Sorry. 6 hours, 17 minutes. Okay. I'll play this and then I'm going to go look for that too.
Gosh, probably hundreds of thousands of discussions now, since it's been going for well over 20, God, is it 25 years now? Yeah.
Now, first order of business, Tricia got right to it, didn't waste any time, and she banned over 100 members. Now, keep in mind, it was not what it was today, okay? But people were not happy about that. The forum grew and grew and grew. Now, another thing to keep in mind, and this is kind of how I like to say it, is that this was like Reddit before Reddit was more normalized and specific to true crime. But today, in present time, in the future with you and I, Web Sleuths has over 240,000 registered members. Now, one thing that you could compare it to is how in the documentary Don't F with Cats, It was basically like web sleuthing type people that were attempting to solve it and who ultimately did. And that's really what I would compare web sleuths to try to make it make sense for you. Not that you don't know what it is, but in my mind, I don't know. I just see it as just a lot of people that use Facebook a lot. You know, ones that type in all caps as their status and say, I do not give Facebook permission to use my photos, those type. I bet Tricia Griffiths has done that a lot in her lifetime. A lot of y'all have said that your favorite part of my office is my color-coded bookshelf. And you know what? You're wrong, because the best part of my office is probably my staple, my iconic emotional support back of the chair cardigan that I got from Quince, which is actually the sponsor of this video. No, Quince doesn't only sell cardigans. They have literally everything. For instance, I just bought sent less than similar brands. And with over 3 use the Don't F with Cats investigation as like one of their claim to fames. One thing that Tricia has credited to web sleuths, or rather just her, is the mysterious murder of Abraham Shakespeare. Fun fact, that is local lore that happened not far from here. Abraham Shakespeare was a man that lived in Lakeland, Florida, who actually won the lottery and then had a lot of people mooching off of him and taking advantage of him. And then this lady stepped in.
Okay, do you want to watch this or do you want to watch Tricia crying about this? I kind of want to watch Tricia crying about this because I already know what a jerk Tricia is. I mean, I like CC Suarez, but I am at 6:17 over in the end of the world thing, and I'm gonna play. Oh my God, what is that? That's a different picture of Stacy. That can't be Stacy. What is happening? I'm gonna watch the crying first.
Here. I hope another moderator did not hide that comment because it's pretty funny. Insomniac Stitcher says they obviously aren't spending their time getting laid. And it had the option to hide or to show, and I hit show, but it said a mod had already handled it, so I hope they showed it.
Why is she? What?
Okay, thanks, Jesse. Thank you.
This is her content? Is herself crying? What is happening? Did it start before that?
Oh, God.
Okay. Not that interesting.
And was a financial advisor, making it seem like she was that. Well, guess who's responsible for his murder? That lady, the financial advisor lady, right? After a Florida man named Abraham Shakespeare was mysteriously murdered following a $17 million lottery win, members of Web Sleuths began investigating. Local police had suspected Shakespeare's financial advisor, Dee Dee Moore, but they didn't have enough evidence.
One day I'm sitting at my computer, which I do most of my life, and I hear a ping. We have a new poster, and I couldn't believe it.
Hello, this is Dee Dee Moore. Since so many of you are interested in my life, I'm not a turtle that pulls my head in my shell. I also don't have anything to hide. I bought Mr. Shakespeare's assets because everyone had already borrowed almost all of his money.
I would advise all of those that have negative comments to remove them now.
I will take any legal action for defamation of character.
Deformation of character. I think she means defamation.
This is what's wrong with our economy now. Instead of you working on a solution to help solve our nationwide problems, you're on a webpage making
Comments about people you do not even know. Well, That stirred things up, you might say.
When Web Sleuth's users began posting about the case, Moore felt compelled to defend her reputation on the site. She logged in anonymously to defend herself, not knowing about IP logging. Web Sleuth's co-owner, Tricia Griffith, turned that IP data over to the police, and Moore was eventually convicted and sentenced to life in prison. Now, I don't know how much that helped investigators, but that's one thing that like they really say like, oh, we did this. And it's like, okay, well, what did that do? Was she just out here like putting evidence on this site? Probably not. But either way, that's one thing. Now, one thing that I actually do think that they should promote more is how they have a very big database of missing persons and unsolved crimes and things like that. And they basically have a huge community of people that are cross-referencing unidentified remains of Jane Does and John Does with like missing person flyers and other information like that. And it really seems like they have been able to really help law enforcement with that, which is amazing.
CHCH says this first part is background on Web Sleuth. Yeah, I'm kind of not one. I don't really want to watch the whole thing. I want to get to the. There it is, Susan Pruitt.
Oh, so those seem like they would be going to her personal accounts, but hey, you reads, and this is a direct quote from a thread on websleuths.com. Dear Web Sleuths members and guests, my apologies for interrupting your discussion. Because of the downturn in advertising, we are short on the server payment. We need to raise $1,700 this upcoming week or the server will be shut off. Below are the ways you can donate: PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle. Be sure to put server in the memo. So those seem like they would be going to her personal accounts, but hey, you can definitely have just your name if you are the business owner on a Cash App or Zelle and have it connected to your business account, but it's definitely a red flag in my opinion. But that's where our story starts. And it brings us to the mismanagement of money and the absolute beautiful morsels that came out of multiple depositions from the 2013 lawsuit. In 2009, a woman named Susan Pruitt joined Web Sleuths as an ordinary forum member. Within 2 years, she and Tricia had struck a deal. Pruitt paid $11,000 up front for a 50% stake in the business. And in April of 2011, WebSleuths.com LLC was formally incorporated. The agreement on paper looked reasonable. Griffith would continue drawing up to $3,000 a month as the sole manager. Pruitt would be partner, and they would share control of the growing company. That partnership lasted less than 2 years before it collapsed completely. On August 1st, 2013, the lawsuit was filed in Harris County, Texas. The plaintiff, Susan Pruitt, defendant, Tricia Griffith. The claims: breach of contract, breach of fiduciary duty. The allegations in the filing were specific. Griffith overdrew the WebSleuths.com LLC bank account on several occasions. Griffith withdrew more money than she was entitled to withdraw. Griffith complained of her personal finance problems to Web Sleuths members, and those members then gave her money. Griffith diverted funds that rightfully belonged to Web Sleuths LLC. And then there's the gambling. During depositions, Tricia was asked
Sorry. What I was saying is that if you're members, all of the deposition videos from Tricia are under members only content without any commentary if you just want to watch them straight through. Sorry about that. Yes, I muted because sorry.
Directly if she had a problem with gambling. Her lawyer objected and advised her not to answer the question. And so she didn't answer. That doesn't look good. That doesn't look good at all. Now, I think it is wild. A little side tangent here. CrimeCon this past year in May was in Vegas. And I had so many people asking me if I was going to gamble, if I was going to be at the roulette or craps table or whatever. I don't like gambling. I think it's silly. But even if I did, I surely, for many reasons, but during a work conference, I would not be gambling. It just seems like insensitive due to the industry that we're in. And then also, especially when I have a GoFundMe for a lawsuit that I'm currently in right now. So that would look horrible. Again, not a fan of gambling.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. Molly Colleen says, how is Tricia affording a lawyer? I don't know. Maybe this lawyer thinks she has a case. I don't know. The Beth Boop says Junebug was doing counter intel. Yeah, I'm not sure. I was wondering, she was over here all the time for a while. It occurred to me that maybe it's just not her type of content, you know, like she was on, if she was on Tricia's channel and was a long-term follower of Tricia, that's a very different kind of content than what we do over here, right? And maybe she just isn't that interested, or maybe she was, you know, doing recon for Tricia, or maybe she is gone on a long-term holiday around the world trip or something. Who can say? But
anyways, I don't like it. No, thank you. I like the whole aesthetic and like the Vegas aesthetic, but like not more of an investor, not a gambler. Okay. No, thanks. So imagine my disgust seeing Tricia Griffiths posted up at the same slot machine.
ugh, with Lauren Matthias. I wouldn't mind. I would send them maybe. If you don't want to be involved, Dream Feed Media, I could send them if you're at all open to that or whatever.
She seems like a slot machine gal, doesn't she? But seeing her at the same slot machine for hours and hours. Now, the filing documents this plainly in the motion for summary judgment. When asked about her alleged problems with gambling, defendant's attorney objected and instructed defendant not to answer questions. Thus, as further detailed below, defendant refused to answer a question regarding a discoverable issue. A motion was later filed specifically to compel responses on the subject of gambling. That motion was denied by the court. The gambling questions never got a court-mandated answer. And Tricia has never publicly...
Why would that be? Anybody here a lawyer? Why would that be? Is Kelly Kell still here? Why would the court deny the motion to compel her answers? I don't really understand that. I mean, wouldn't that explain a lot in this situation? I feel like it would explain basically everything, no? It's confusing.
Publicly addressed why she refused to answer those questions, which is interesting. And by interesting, I mean sketchy. Among those who came forward during the lawsuit were supporters who had given Griffith significant sums. Court documents reflect donations and loans from members, with at least one member giving $3,000 after believing that she and Tricia were best friends. In her own words, stupidly, I thought we were best friends. Boy, was I fooled to find out that I had been being used for money, and that is how I feel now. The total amount that I gave Tricia was around $3,000 or so.
Here's the deal. It has to do with my memory. You've got to understand.
Okay. I told you to go get another CAT scan and make sure that you don't have some kind of bruising.
I don't have any money. But here,
now, Pruitt's position, as stated in the filings, was that advertising alone had always been enough to cover server costs. There was never, she argued, a legitimate business reason for members to be donating money at all. Tricia fought the lawsuit aggressively. She filed procedural motion.
Right. That makes sense. Her Majesty 6954 says you can't compel people to potentially incriminate themselves. Right, of course. She would just plead the fifth, right? Right. That makes perfect sense. Thank you.
And ultimately filed her own counterclaim that Pruitt had spread false allegations to forum members. The case dragged on through 2014 and into 2015, and then it ended. Now, the case was dismissed, but Tricia has framed it two ways publicly. She says that she settled with Pruitt and that Tricia got to keep Web Sleuths, and then Pruitt got to get out of it, I guess. And then another characterization that she made was in a different clip. And she, like I said, has like gone back and forth with both of these previously. And she said no settlement was made. It was dropped or it was dismissed.
I don't know if I've ever told the story of how I met Janet. I think you guys probably know.
Yeah, I think we know. I don't think you've said it on the show though.
Okay. It's oh gosh. Remember that awful, terrible lawsuit that my former business partner tried to take Web Sleuths from me by claiming I did all these horrible things. And,
Didn't she just say she met her on the Web Sleuths forum and they started chatting and texting every day?
And in emails, Tricia doesn't have enough money for a lawyer. So I've got all this evidence of these terrible things she's done, but, we don't need to even bring it up because she'll just drop out. Well, she didn't know that I had friends that helped me. Anyway, long story short, we ended up settling with her and I kept Web Sleuths. Got her out of the business. Nothing that she ever accused me of was proven because it didn't happen.
Now, y'all know that we love a pattern here. And by love, I mean hate, because it really just is too predictable at this point with a lot of people like this. And honestly, it, in my opinion, of course, just my opinion from everything I've seen, sucks that this person has the veil or facade of credibility that it seems that she does, because I don't.
Is this a thing? Debs in Space says Cece just said she's got to GoFundMe for her current court case costs. Is that how she's paying for it? She's begging from her people again? Okay. Indy Cindy says in criminal court that is not true. Pleading the fifth in criminal court is not supposed to affect anything. In civil court, pleading the fifth is the same as admitting guilt. Oh, so they don't need to compel answers. If she refuses to answer, they already know. Okay, civil court, it's like you answered in the affirmative. That's what I thought was so funny. She pled the fifth in a civil matter. Ha ha ha. She's a dork. Oh, okay. She's been labeled dork, just like Lauren. Labeled dork. No, you're good, Cindy. I don't apologize, please. I got no receipts here. I'm just a person with some common sense, and I can read, but I don't know the law. So I'm always happy to have people with knowledge.
I don't know, man. Just like watching some of her coverage, I'm like, you're not well spoken, which not everyone is. I mean, have y'all seen me unedited? Blah, blah, blah. No. You don't get to see that. Well, you do in live streams, and it's not good. So she only does live streams, though. She doesn't really do like edited content ever. And it's not good reporting. It's, I'm not trying to be mean, but it's just like, it seems like she, saw an opportunity and I guess got lucky. It doesn't really seem like she does any of the work. The people on the platform do, and that's it. Again, all of that is my own opinion. But like I said, this seems to be a pattern and it's continuing today.
Well, I may be confused. Lucia says, wait, Cece or Tricia has a GoFundMe? This is a good point because I know that she's being sued by that, what's his name? Jeremy Wilson or something like that. So that makes sense. Cece has a GoFundMe. Oh, okay, not Tricia. Okay, good. I don't want to spread false info. Okay, here we go.
And by continuing, I mean getting worse. The 2013 lawsuit wasn't a one-time anomaly. It appears based on review of recent public posts, forum history, and online commentary. This is a pattern.
Cat Baloo, Cece is the woman who is talking on the screen right now. Cece Suarez. She's a channel that exposes scammers, a lot of TikTokers. She did Lauren videos, stuff like that. She's great. And this is her video on Tricia, which apparently Tricia discovered while she was live on her 24-hour end of the world live stream. And then she cried live on the live stream about how mean the big creator was. And she's great.
That continues.
Penny, the judge said it wasn't relevant right now. He said the door could be opened at trial. Are we talking about the gambling stuff, Kelly Cal? And then the trial never happened?
Continues to this day. Again, Web Sleuths is not a nonprofit and it has never been registered as one. It generates advertising revenue and at various points it has held media partnerships, including a pretty big one that we'll get into shortly. The asking for money never stops. Post after post on the forum, on social media, on YouTube, Griffith has described this site as being on the verge of going dark. Server bills that she can't pay, emergencies that only member donations can fix, and the accounts to send that to, Venmo, Cash App, etc.
Web Sleuths is some kind of Ponzi scheme, siphoning, poaching, fleecing bullshit for Tricia Griffith weirdo to.
Don't apologize, Kelly. I lose track of what I'm talking about all the time. So please don't worry if you have to screw my head on straight for me. I am not offended.
Profit off of while pretending, hiding behind victims and people who really give a shit and want to help. And if her supporters don't wake up now, they're complicit. Like, this is gross. This goes back over 10 years of her doing this shit. She sees the numbers. You have someone who actually wanted to help this family, and all she keeps saying is big donation, big donation.
Court filings from the 2013 lawsuit even describe her as having this pattern. She would share her personal, very personal financial struggles privately with wealthy or emotionally invested members, and they would feel close to her. They would want to help. Money would change hands, not to the business account.
You should be able to pay because clearly, allegedly, there's some mishandling of money. There's some other issues going on, or this money is just disappearing, that you just get a bunch and you can't hang on to it. It's crazy.
Soliciting financial assistance paragraph. Do you see that?
Yes.
It says soliciting financial assistance in the forums, chat, or via PM is strictly prohibited. This means both overt, in quote says, send me money, and subtle, for me, I could really use some money, forms. Do you agree that soliciting money or soliciting anything can be in an overt or a subtle form as described here in the Web Sleuths etiquette and information, correct?
Now, like I said, Tricia and websleuths.com LLC has had a good amount of media partnerships and things here and there that, unfortunately, not them, but give her credibility. And one of the biggest thing that has happened that has given her and Web Sleuths credibility.
Molly Colleen says, I wish the judge tomorrow could see this depo. I was literally just thinking, why don't I send the deposition videos to Linda Mills? Because I have them all. I have them all in raw form. I could just send them on over. I don't know if they can use that. Can they, Kelly Kell? Can they use evidence of character in these kind of suits? Or of prior, this kind of stuff? Indy Cindy? Anybody? Unlike in criminal cases, a civil court or jury is legally allowed to draw a negative adverse inference from your silence, which can hurt your civil case. Yeah, if you plead the fifth. Okay, so wow. Yeah. Maybe I should send those deposition videos over.
Is that they were bought out by Othram. Othram is a forensic technology company founded in 2018 and based in the Woodlands, Texas. It specializes in forensic genetic genealogy, using advanced DNA sequencing to help law enforcement identify murder victims, Jane Does and John Does, and cold case perpetrators. Think of it as a private crime lab built specifically for cases where traditional DNA methods have hit a dead end. It works with federal partners and law enforcement in nearly every state and runs a crowdfunding platform called DNA Solves, which allows the public to donate directly toward DNA testing on specific cold cases. In December 2023, Othram announced a strategic investment in Web Sleuths, described in their own press release as supporting the reorganization and continued independent operation of the site. Now, one thing that's interesting is that they don't necessarily say that it's like a buyout, but that's interesting because according to the entity like filing documents, like the LLC documents, Tricia's not on that anymore. It's under other people. And then also there have been a few times where Tricia has said things like, oh, on her YouTube channel, the Web Sleuths YouTube channel, she says things like, oh, we used to be, monetized on YouTube, but now we're not. And then I want to say like a month or two later, she said, oh, well, now all of the AdSense or the super chats and, things like that, now all of that money goes towards Othram. But when it comes to super chats and AdSense and all that, unless you're like going through on the 22nd or 21st of each month and like looking and like doing the math and like her taking it out of the account and sending it to them, it doesn't really seem like that's how that would work. So it seems.
Carolina says her financials have to be proven to be in order before she's considered a creditor. Really? Yeah, I may as well send them over. It just occurred to me now to do it. I just wonder if they're allowed to, are they allowed to put stuff in evidence that is evidence of her prior behavior? Because I know that isn't always allowed, right? In criminal And I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I just genuinely don't know.
It's like Othram has now put like their AdSense account onto the Web Sleuths YouTube channel. Again, that's just my theory. And I personally do think that now they own it, and maybe, and obviously they get like all like the data of it or something like that. Again, all just theories. I don't know. But that's what I would think, is that they would see value in the huge community and having access to all of that, not personal data, but all of that, right? And potentially they could be keeping Tricia on as a manager or administrator or something and just paying her monthly maybe. And then from there, they're able to keep her on there because maybe they see that it's easier to just like retain membership if like she's still like not the face of it, but that she's like still there, and it's just easier to keep her on than to get her out and put someone else in there. However, you would think that they would see that this woman is a bit problematic. Then again, in my opinion, like when it comes to the business aspect of it, having that information and all that data and that resource of Web Sleuths as a whole, I mean, that's way more valuable than, than Tricia Griffiths, right? I don't want to say she's harmless, but in terms of like that, like, yes, she's messy and in my opinion, a scammer, but
G14 classifies says it's so much easier to get stuff in as evidence in a civil trial than a criminal trial. I just Googled it really quickly, and it seems like it's possible, right? That if you're trying to prove a pattern of behavior that this person did this sort of thing before or whatever in a civil case. That's just from a Google. Please, nobody take my word on anything to do with the law.
still, it seems like it's better for the platform itself, because now since they seem to be, again, just a theory, I don't know, since they seem to be operating everything, then, I mean, she can't really be scamming people on there and be like, oh, I need money for servers, when it's like, well, no, now it seems like
Does she say that Janet had a housekeeper on one of the field trip videos or something? Or the Woo Woo Saturday Night? Wow, Bobos Russo. The deposition shows lack of character. It would be good for Linda's attorney to have those for future use. Also, the clips of Tricia stating Janet had a housekeeper. Did Tricia say Janet had a cleaner who got the car, or was that someone at the church? I can't remember. I know someone else got the car. She does have a pattern of this, right? And like the same. Was it Andy again that did all the research into the laws in Texas on elder abuse in terms of trying to steal people's money, and that showed us that like it's very often women who don't have children or much family around them, and they have their money, they've left it to the church got the car, thanks, and they've left their money to an animal shelter or something like that, and she's got 2 in a row with this. I mean, Helen's money did go to the animal shelter. Well, it went to the city coffers. That's another story. But Tricia didn't get it. It was Andy, right? Andy's the one who's been doing all these. She's a proper journalist. She knows how to dig for all this stuff.
Othram is handling
It was
all of
Jules. It was Jules. Oh, yeah, maybe you're right, Dreamfeed Media. That actually does sound right. I don't want to give credit where it's not due. Allegedly innocent. We've got a second for that, and actually, I think that sounds right. I'm thinking in terms of time in my brain and when I started to know who Andy Copsa was. So I think you got a good point. I think it was allegedly innocent. Hey, Hannah, nice to see you.
Also, the site in general just seems like it is working more smoothly since, from what I've heard from other people who frequent this site, seems like it is going more smoothly than it was going on before they stepped in. Did they do a complete buyout? Have they kept her on and give her like a salary or something? I have no idea.
The Othram DNA Solves relationship with Trish and how they bought Web Sleuths. So she's the manager now, but she was, putting their links and everything in her videos. And she was pushing for it. She still is. But it's like, okay, but then, then there's Beth Bee over here who died, who was a subscriber / supporter, who is basically the reason Trish was put into contact with Othram, the middlemans in Texas of Baylor University, and I found out, and I just don't remember where I found this. So this is just going to be rumor and speculation right now till I can, directly show you the receipt where I saw this. because I've been looking at newspapers.com, and where Beth Bee, who goes, her real name is Janet, of course.
Speaking of this person being a scammer, in my opinion, and just an odd character, I'm trying to be very nice. Let's get into the further alleged examples of.
Lucia says, what was Tricia saying about crushing now? Yeah, I'm not going to share that. If she's had any sense, she's deleted it. I took screenshots, but I don't want to be involved in that in any way, except to say that Tricia needs to, I don't know what. Seems like she's not going to do whatever it is she needs to do, but
Alleged elder abuse. You can come up with your own opinions, okay? I'm just going to show you, okay? Enter stage left, Janet Wolford. Janet, fun fact, this absolute queen of a glass ceiling breaker, was the first female manager at ExxonMobil. An absolute queen.
I was worried because I thought, this is some little old lady giving me her Social Security money. And, you know, she's eating beans. It was, you know, I was grateful. People, $5, $10, that's what I expected. So I had her email through GoFundMe, and I emailed her and I said, I'd like to talk to you. And so she called me and I said, you know, thank you so much for donating. You've already donated so much. You don't need to donate anymore. I don't want to drain your bank account. She burst out laughing, started talking, and we hit it off immediately.
And she was known to the Web Sleuths community as Beth Bee, and by all accounts was an absolutely remarkable woman. Now, Janet / Beth Bee had a lifelong friend. We'll call her Daphne, since that's what Tricia calls her in her own public statements. Daphne was Janet / Beth Bee's friend and financial advisor for decades. I don't know if I want to call her Beth Bee or Janet going forward. We're going to call her Janet. Let's put some respect on her name. All right, this woman was a badass. Now, Janet had a will, and she was very clear about what she wanted to happen with her money. And she had a lot of it. She wanted her money to go to an animal shelter. We love that. Even in death, this woman's amazing. Janet passed away in May of 2025. And within days of Janet passing away, according to court filings and Tricia Griffith's own public statements, which seems so crazy to say, Tricia did a few things that are, let's just say now they are the subject of active litigation. Tricia had Janet's phone. She said so herself in a live stream that, of course, has since been deleted. However, the internet's forever, and other YouTubers, who I'm very thankful for regarding this story, have shared it quite a bit. Tricia described how she came upon the phone and how it got into her possession and what she did with it after.
Okay. Beth Bee went to the hospital on May 12th. All right. She'd been quite ill. She refused to let me call the doctor. She refused to go to the doctor. She said if I called 911, she'd kick me out. She was just very cantankerous. But she finally agreed to go to the hospital on May 12th. On Friday, but before she left, she told me, she said, I need you to take care of my cell phone. Make sure you always keep track of my cell phone. And take care of the house and take care of Kyle the kidney. And because we were fully planning on her coming back, we didn't know what was wrong with her. We found out. But at the time, we didn't know.
there it is right there. We didn't know what was wrong with her. This is the opposite of as her cancer got worse. And she's talking about literally within days of her death. Debs in Space says, sorry, didn't mean to say misinfo. Thanks to chat for checking me. Oh, that's, yeah, great. Awesome. Thanks for owning up. I mean, that's what we do over here, right? we can apologize and own up when we make mistakes and move forward. So yeah, thanks, Debs in Space. Appreciate that. Appreciate the £5 also very much. Thank you. Teresa T says, hello, everyone. Thanks for this, Penny. Joined late, but glad I made it. Well, glad you made it too. I don't think we've met Teresa T. Alabama Amy says, I will take things that never happened for $500, Alex. Yeah, no shit. The way she forgot and then had to go back and stick in the part about Beth Bee telling her to take care of her phone and her purse. That didn't sound sketchy.
Now, when the designated executor, Daphne, which again is not her real name, that is just what Tricia calls her. I don't know why she makes up fake names for everybody. I mean, I guess that's kind of a good thing because her audience is a little bit crazy. Sometimes, not all of you, I'm sure, but sometimes. It's not funny, Chelsea. Don't laugh. It's just so ridiculous. Like this person, she's in like a bedazzled cowboy hat and like a bright blue blazer with shoulder pads and like giant brooches. Like it's so weird. It's so weird. And then like the quality of her streams, it's like it looks like she just has like Vaseline smeared on her, webcam. I don't know, man. It's like she's live streaming from like the Brave Little Toaster or something. Anyways, so when Daphne, the designated executor, asked for the cell phone, what was Tricia's response?
And Daphne kept telling me, I have to have Beth Bee's phone. I need Beth Bee's phone. And by this time I knew something. Stacy, jump in if I'm forgetting.
Thank you, HMS Gen X lady. Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. 10 Dreadful Penny memberships. Thank you. Hey, here we go.
Something, okay?
Okay.
And I told her no, that I had lost it, which was a lie. And she knew it was a lie, but she couldn't get it from me.
Oh, here, I'm sorry, you can have it back. Or, oh, I was just making sure like we didn't misplace it. Nope, of course not. It was something completely normal that someone would say on a live stream. Another example of something totally not incriminating and very, very normal to say on a live stream about someone who is.
Yes, Cassie Roku. It seems like all of those clothes belong to Beth Bee. They look like they are like power suits from the 80s era, which would have been around the right time for Beth Bee to have been the power executive that she was. It was Mobil Oil, I believe, right? She was one of the executives there. So that's what the surmise is, because suddenly Tricia had all these things, and where would she get money to buy even secondhand clothes? That many. So yeah, that's the guess.
Just died. Exhibit B.
Stacy helped me get into, because I had all of Beth Bee's passwords. She had given me everything. I'd had it for years, but I never got into any of her accounts. I didn't need to. I would never do that. Well, we just wanted to look for something. The day after Beth Bee died, on May 18th, is when I got that text from Beth Bee that said, "Be me." Now, her phone was an older phone. You couldn't pre-schedule a text to send. And she hadn't been able to text anything for at least 10 days. I don't know how it happened, but I got a text on.
God, I can't even believe that I had forgotten how fucking insane all of this is. It is so wild. I hope to God Linda Mills has these videos.
On May 18th saying, from Beth Bee, saying, "Be me." And there's another woo-woo that I can't go into now that's an even bigger woo-woo that is even more, there's no explanation for it. I talked to an Apple iPhone expert, and he just said there's no explanation for it. And I can't explain it, but it led to us discovering this fraud.
On November 5th, 2025, so about 7 months after Janet had passed away, Tricia had filed motions in court to become the administrator of Janet's estate. And in those same court filings, she accused Daphne, the longtime friend and financial advisor and designated executor of the estate, of fraud. The filing includes language, gross, of course. I mean, all of it's gross, but this is just ill, But those filings include language stating that Tricia Griffiths has relied upon promise.
Judy Studios is asking who is Linda. So Linda is the executive. Well, she's a friend of Beth Bee's who has applied to be the administrator of her will, and she was her financial advisor, and they had been friends for 30 years. She also has gone by the pseudonym Daphne in a lot of these conversations, so you might know her as Daphne. She's the person who's going to be in court tomorrow with Tricia, trying to she is applied to get letters of administration for Beth Bee's estate, and Tricia wants to administer the estate.
Promises of estate property by the deceased to her own detriment. What is that? What's that mean? What does that mean? I think, again, theory, not fact, just me, thinking while I'm in the shower, as one does. I think that she, like, by her own detriment, meaning like she has now overextended herself because she was counting on this money that she thought she was going to get, because allegedly Janet told her that she was going to be like getting money, or that she was going to leave money to maybe.
Yeah. So if you're just joining us, we read the affidavit earlier and the motion in limine, or the motion to. Anyway, Tricia's asking for the house and 20% of Beth Bee's IRA. And Teresa T says, I imagine and hope and pray that someone has reached out to Daphne with the video receipts of POS Tricia. I sent one of the videos months and months and months ago. Like when this all first came out, when Jolene first discovered it all. And we discovered the court case and everything. I sent the video. I sent one of the videos, at least one of them. And I was just saying earlier, maybe before you got here, that actually I have all the deposition videos. And I'm just probably going to send those over tonight after I get off the live here. I'm going to email her lawyers.
Web sleuths or to Tricia herself. But if that was the case, with how smart this woman was, you would think that that would have been in the will, but it wasn't. I mean, like, Tricia, sometimes people just say things. So in plain language, like we just said, Tricia is claiming that she was promised something, to be left something of monetary value, money. And of course, like I said, there's no written record that Janet left or promised anything to Tricia. And the will, that document that the courts are deeming valid, do not list or include or hint at or smell of anyone by the name of Tricia, Trish, Griffiths, Web Sleuths, anything like that.
I was told that I was beneficiary, and I was told the things that Beth Bee told me she was leaving me because of the paperwork that was supposed to be done by Daphne. And Daphne told Beth Bee it was all done, it was all handled, don't you worry about a thing.
To make things sketchier, Tricia has claimed that Daphne.
Indy Cindy says, haha, have we all talked to Linda's lawyer? Have you talked to her? I haven't talked to her. I just sent them the videos ages ago. So if you've talked to her, kudos. Because you've probably given her all of the lowdown, and that's basically what we want. We want her to have the ammunition to be able to refute Tricia's lies, right?
Daphne said that she was going to get everything.
Oh, good
and
girl.
Tricia has said that she has an audio recording.
Indy Cindy says, I called him. Was it a fruitful discussion? Did you speak to them? And were you able to impart important information? Also, yeah, random old lady says, remember Stacy said, don't mess with people when you don't know who their friends and family are. Yeah. Yeah. These people are really, they're just beyond the pale, right? And they're not going to change. I mean, my God, Tricia's been like this her whole life. You might give them a call and leave a message with the secretary so they're aware. I'm just going to send them the videos. I've got the video deposition from when she said, I don't know, approximately 94,000 times.
Of this claim, as she.
Her hearing is tomorrow, Jen Pookie, but as far as I tried to get access to it, but I couldn't find any way. Didn't seem like they were allowing anybody but lawyers in. It's a Zoom hearing. But Andy Kopsa was in the chat early on, and she said that she said, tapping the side of her nose kind of thing, that there might be a friend in the hearing tomorrow. So I don't know what that means, and I'm assuming we will find out tomorrow.
You ever shared it? No, not to my knowledge, at least. Maybe she has and she deleted it or something. Other people are like on this, so I'm pretty sure other people would have caught that if that happened, but I have not seen anything. Tricia does not show receipts much, in my opinion. Tricia was alluding to / claiming / flat out saying that Daphne, the longtime friend, executor, financial advisor, was claiming that she gets everything. The I in that is Daphne, not Tricia. Really build in the narrative here that like, oh, well, this person's a scammer and they just want all the money for themselves and so on and so forth. Web Sleuths at its core is a place where people can discuss cold cases, disappearances and dig through evidence. They share theories. Sometimes they get it right. Sometimes they go crazy and destroy reputations and take it too far and make real gross comments about people that maybe they forget are real people. Tricia Griffith has shaped the culture of that space for 2 decades. She decides who gets banned. She decides who gets a prominent placement. She's built something alongside of the forum, a community of intensely loyal supporters, people who feel personally connected to her, who call her a friend, and who have given her a good amount of money. The lawsuit from 2013 describes that loyalty was really cultivated by Tricia. Specifically, her past business partner, not only her, but other members of the community as well, claimed that Tricia would share very intimate things, details, true or maybe not true, to try to get closer to people, whether it's to love bomb them, emotionally manipulate them, to do sad fishing. And of course, that wouldn't be in the public, that would be in private, and then the money would follow.
Beach Life Please says, isn't Jules going to try and go to court? I don't know. That's the first I've heard of it. I sure hope so. I hope somebody's there. It's a Zoom hearing, as far as I know. And I couldn't find any way to get access to it. But I mean, I'm in Canada, so it could literally be something to do with that. But on the website, I followed all the links to get access. And then I got there and it was like, you have to be a lawyer and you had to have your bar card number or whatever it is in order to sign in. So that's all that I know. That doesn't mean that nobody else figured out another way around it or anything, but that's just from where I'm at.
Natalie Jones's mother is not going to be coming on tomorrow night. I have to wonder, because I just recently announced that she would be here Saturday night. And I have to wonder if these 2 trolls contacted her.
That's one of the main reasons why I was extremely grossed out when at CrimeCon this past year, I found out and saw that she was going up to people, like just random people, and talking to them and then giving out her card to them. And all it said was like her first and last name and her phone number, I think. It was very interesting. And apparently she was like, well, if you ever want to talk, I'm here. And it's like, what? That's weird. That's a weird thing to do. Excuse me. And on the note of pushing boundaries, so to speak, and in my opinion, some inappropriate encounters. And again, this is just my own opinion, but she has a real, I don't know if it's a hate boner or what, for the Ramsey family, especially for John Ramsey. And listen, I think that in this industry, not only with the true crime of it all, but like with journalism and production and investigations and media.
That's awesome, Indy Cindy. So she talked to the paralegal, I guess, of Linda Mills and the lawyer, and said, I told them she appears to have an issue handling money and it would be bad for probate case to allow someone like that to take Janet's case, but they should be able to find that info. Yeah, I mean, we all found all this stuff, so presumably they can too. So yeah, being pointed in the right direction. Good for you. So yay. Yay. Some of our efforts seem to be bearing fruit. It looks like that Lauren has not managed to get her hooks back into Lindsay Clancy's lawyer since I sent him a letter explaining exactly who she is, including links to all of her body cam footage and court audio, etc. And he replied. So I know that he got it, and I know that he was going to look at it, and he hasn't talked to Lauren since, as far as I can see. She certainly hasn't put him up on her. She hasn't said anything about it. What she has done, though, is she's going after all these lawyers from all these old cases. So she got an interview with Andrea Yates's lawyer, and yesterday she had an interview with Susan Smith's lawyer. So just saying. We are having some effect, but these people are just relentless in their attempts. So.
And stuff like that. There's going to be people that you don't like, or people that, you know, that you think maybe might not be like the most ethical people, but I don't think that a conference or convention with other industry professionals is an appropriate place to confront somebody like that. You shouldn't do that, like in a negative manner. Don't get me wrong. At CrimeCon this past year, not me being like, you shouldn't confront someone. And then like literally I confronted someone. I wasn't being mean though. I'm pretty sure they did take it that way, but I had made a video or 2 videos about someone, and I went up to them and I was like, hey, just wanted to say hi, introduced myself, whatever. It was a strange interaction, but that that was it. But it's a little different when it's like creator to creator versus like, for instance, Freedom Barbie doing that last year and being like, well, you hate me and like you're a mean girl and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, whatever, fine. I think I handled that very well, whatever. But there's a difference between that. Like, don't do that. That's weird. But what's worse is going up to, let's say there are some people in this type of industry that don't like the Gonclaves family. One of the victims of the Idaho 4, they don't like them. And there's like this whole little community that like thinks that Brian Koberger is innocent, but then also that like, I don't know, they like think that Kaylee's parents had something to do with it. I'm going to go down that rabbit hole.
God, I'm losing track of what's going on over with Cece. I lost track. Didn't Ping and Stacy get computers from Janet Beth Bee? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And they said so on the Woo Woo Saturday night. They talked all about it and then they dirty deleted it. And then Ping can't seem to remember anything. There must be, I don't know, maybe it's a good old case of web sleuth amnesia.
In a bit. I've been talking to her mom. She's very nice. It's really wild. But that would be like if those people were there and like went up to like Kaylee's parents and started, I don't know, like trying to do like a gotcha moment or something. So my point is that's extremely unprofessional and inappropriate, right? And just because like you maybe ignore someone in a professional setting or you like don't interact with them or you're cordial.
Deanne says, but Ping barely knew her. Rolling eyes, but didn't Stacy say that Stacy never actually met her in person either, right? Stacy never met her, she said. They just know her from online.
It doesn't mean like, oh, well, you're fake, blah, blah. No, I'm being professional, right? I don't think Tricia Griffiths knows what that is. For instance, I find it so disrespectful and just gross that at CrimeCon one year, she wore a shirt that had like the handwriting analysis from Jean-Benet Ramsey.
She's talking about confronting John Ramsey. Okay, I get it.
His mom, like the G of like a sample of the mom's handwriting and then like a G from the ransom letter. And okay, have any theories you want? I get it. I have my own billion different theories about that case too. I was still nice to the dad. And if the brother's ever there, I'll probably steer clear of him. But God forbid I ever like run into him. I'm not going to be rude. I will be nice, but it's also like, I'm not going to start questioning him and being like, oh, so tell me about the pineapple in your stomach. Or like, why did you do this? Right? That's so unprofessional and gross and just so distasteful. And I don't like that because it's like, no matter what, like, hey, like if you think they had something to do with it or like, I don't know, if you like just don't like them for some reason, it's like, well, guess what? Their kid's still dead. Okay. So like, what are you doing? What's going on here? How about instead of harassing them, which in my opinion, I do think that what Tricia Griffiths has done to John Ramsey and his wife and the family, like is obviously not cute. I think it's unethical. I think it's crossing a boundary. I mean, I do think it's a little bit like harassy behavior. It's trolling, really. It's less so harassing, more so like trolling. And like, I think she's like trying to bait them. But yeah, just like wearing that shirt with like the G's, it's just gross. I'm not a fan of that. So I hate it, actually. Anyways. Another example of the boundary crossing weirdness when it comes to Tricia Griffiths is her close relationship and support of Lauren Matthias from Hidden True Crime, which if you don't know, you should definitely go watch.
Yay, Cece Suarez. I'm so glad she made that connection. Thank you.
The Lauren Matthias Hidden True Crime deep dive that I did, because this woman kept saying that she was being stalked and harassed and she kept calling someone my stalker, my stalker, my stalker. If you just look through all the court documents, you can see that her proof of stalking is that this person put like an eyeball emoji, like the 2 eyeballs. She like commented that on something and she was literally just speaking out on like how she didn't like how Lauren Matthias was essentially talking about victims and their families behind closed doors or in text, and how like inappropriate that was and didn't like that. That's really where all of that stemmed from. And I guess being the perpetual victim and framing someone as like a stalker is a good way to try to like get ahead of something. I don't know. It's gross. I don't like it. It really does seem like a lot of characters like that, like the Lauren Matthias's, her weird assistant, and then Tricia Griffiths and like people like that. I don't want to say they're like on the fringes because they're not. I mean, they have pretty large followings and like they can do and provide impactful content and work, but unfortunate because it's like it gets overshadowed by it's
Marissa Monroe says, when does Tricia go to court? Tomorrow. Tomorrow. That's why we're here, because I was initially going to do a video carrying on with the 9-hour live with Lauren. And I thought, oh, I'll have to wish everybody happy Tricia's hearing eve. And then I thought, oh, I'll just go over and look at the docket. And lo and behold, she had literally just uploaded her response to the motion to have her request to be an administrator denied, and an affidavit. And in those things, she says that she wants the house and 20% of the IRA. So tomorrow.
It's like, it's the right message sometimes, just the wrong messenger. And like, maybe you aren't the person who should be in this space because you're annoying, and you can be.
On the docket, it says 11 a.m. and it's in Texas. Yeah. So I don't know what time. Is that Central Time, or I don't know. It's 11 a.m. Texas time.
Yeah, annoying. That's not illegal. You can be cringe. That's not illegal. But like, being the perpetual victim is gross. And it's like, hey, let's focus on the truth and not you crying on a live stream for 9 hours, or you attempting to allegedly, from what it looks like with my eyeballs, steal money from elderly people. Because that's not good. Don't do that. Now, Tricia is aware that people are talking about her usual, with people like this. She's called it hate. She's called it, people are trolling. They're just haters. They're lying. And even to bring it back to the 2013 lawsuit, just like she said publicly then, I'm sure she'd probably say the same thing now.
Nothing that she ever accused me of was proven because it didn't happen.
But one thing that I do think is interesting, since this...
Is that a thing? Ann Cormody says they may give Tricia $1 to settle her claim. I would be absolutely fucking chuffed. I mean, if I can update y'all tomorrow, I will. I have not found any way to get access to the court. And unless they upload something to the docket, or unless somebody else... Andy Kopsa alluded to the fact that somebody was going to be there. I don't know. I'm waiting along with all of y'all to see what... I don't know if anything will even show up on the docket, right? Doesn't it take time to decide these things? So maybe, I don't know. That was a long way of saying, I don't know, Glam Dolly. Sorry about that.
Has really become like all public record of her trying to have herself listed as a creditor. That's interesting, because she keeps saying like, oh, I didn't, try to make myself a creditor. And it's like, it's literally in the court documents. What are you talking about? Her saying on live stream, just want to make sure that like everything's going to the pound puppies. It's not the pound puppies. It's a charity or a humane society or something like that. But it's like, okay, well then why does it say in the documents here that you want to be a creditor? Now, what can happen when, kind of like when someone is ordered to like pay restitution or something like that, when there is a will, an estate, something like that, is going to be dispersed, some entity can come in and be like, hey, wait, hold on. I believe it's a...
Scorpio C80 says, call the court and ask if there's a Zoom number for the public. I did, and nobody answered me. They don't answer the phone. Big surprise. And I left a message and nobody answered me. And I tried to find it on the court, and it seems like it's only lawyers. The only instructions that were available were for lawyers. Somebody is asking what court. I couldn't look at the... No, that's not right. Hang on. Webslues. Just give me a second. I'll look it up. I think it says it on the thing, actually, doesn't it? Hang on a second. Sorry. Probate court number 3, Dallas County, Texas courts. Dallas County, Texas court, estate of Janet Wolford. Here, I'll show you this, guys. You can see it. Probate court number 3, Dallas County, Texas courts. And then when you go all the way down here, it shows here. This is tomorrow. this hearing at 11 a.m. tomorrow. And then the documents are all down here. And this one just came today. This is the one we were just looking at. Anyway, I've just downloaded it again for like the third time. So I don't know. I did try. I did what I could. They did not respond to me. And I just sort of assumed that was because I'm Canadian. I don't know. But they did not call me back. And I also sent an email and nobody answered my email. So
of interest, or not a person of interest. I think it's party of interest when it's like restitution type thing or a
Yes,
settlement.
great.
And then with this, it was more so like listing yourself as a creditor so that you could be paid back. Because obviously when funds from a wills, from an estate, before they can go to whoever it's listed to, all the debt has to be paid off first. You know, their house, which this woman's house was paid off super quickly because she's a boss, Janet. But you know, it could be that, credit card, medical debt, right? Things like that. And the mob, I don't know, loan sharks. Anyways, so listing yourself as a creditor or trying to get yourself listed as a creditor, then you could potentially, you know, get what that person owes you. But if there's nothing in writing that she owes you anything, like why would she owe you anything? She was paying for stuff for you. Like allegedly she was paying your rent. And also keep in mind, Tricia doesn't have a job. Apparently she hasn't for a long time. This is her job. But
so that's the link to this video. And if you click on that, then you can go and sub up to Cece Suarez because she's awesome.
Web Sleuths allegedly isn't making like that much money, especially with it now being controlled by Authorem allegedly. And you could say, well, oh, well, you know, she does her live streams and she gets money there. Okay, well, now all of that goes to Authorem, and it has been like that for a while now. Well, what about AdSense? The Web Sleuths YouTube channel doesn't get that many views per month. So I don't know what their CPM. The CPM is click per 1,000 views or whatever, right? And I don't know how good hers is. I would assume it's not that good. But let's just say that 1 million channel views per month equals $8,000 to $10,000, $7,000 to $10,000, right? Per month. That's without taxes taken out because it's paid as royalties. Now, Tricia's channel views, as you can see from Social Blade here, and keep in mind, Social Blade with the amount of like with the view count, it's accurate. But then with the like subscriber count, follower count, it's not, it's rounded up or down. That's not precise, okay? Because Social Blade doesn't have access to that information. However, they do have access to the views. And then also the money part is like messed up too. Like I'm pretty sure mine says I get like $2,000 per month, which is not accurate. However, just a little insider info for you. But this says July 2023, 0 views. August 2023, 54,000 views. And that's total channel views, okay? And 66,000, 45,000, 16, 42, 53, 37,000. Finally hits above 100,000, above 300,000 in May of 2024, and then goes back down. And the only reason this would be negative, they deleted a bunch of videos. Now, if the Web Sleuths YouTube channel is only getting, on average, let's be generous, 50,000 channel views a month, imagine how many videos and live streams they had to delete for it to be almost negative 6 million. Girl, how many videos did you delete? That's crazy. So a lot of people have speculated that this was because people started to discuss all of this craziness with this estate lawsuit and the ethics around this and like how this is gross. Now, one person who's been real on Tricia's butt, gross, is Jay with Everyday Jay. She's awesome. She actually is here in the Tampa area and she has really been covering this to a T. So thank you, Jay, for doing that. And if y'all would like to subscribe to Jay, please do. I actually got to meet her at CrimeCon. She was very nice. And then also Jolene Lenzer has been covering this a lot as well. And Jolene's amazing. I really, really appreciate her. She's great. But Jolene is someone that it seems like Tricia Griffiths doesn't like either of these people. But the reason why all of this even came onto my radar is because allegedly, someone sent me an email that allegedly Tricia had like a secret live stream or something with her channel members or with someone saying that she wanted everyone to go mass report allegedly, all of Jolene Lenzer's channels and social medias and stuff like that, which is
Sorry, I just want to say thank you, Random Old Lady. I really appreciate the memberships. Thank you so much. And then Alabama Amy says it was like 8 million views they deleted. What does that mean, though? Does it mean anything in terms of their income?
like, why? Because she's reading court documents and making fun of you and calling you out? Then stop wearing that many brooches, ma'am. You're doing it to yourself. And clean your webcam lens, weirdo. Speaking of brooches and wardrobe choices, a lot of people had been noticing that it really seems like after Janet died that Tricia Griffiths got a brand new wardrobe. That's where all the brooches came from. Sorry for the brooch slander, Janet RIP, but a lot of it. So people have now been speculating, well, okay, did she just take her phone and her purse, or was she also like ransacking the lady's closet? And really just the way that she has discussed this woman who was apparently her close friend after her passing, it has just been really distasteful and really weird. Now, Tricia has said that she has found evidence of fraud by accessing bank accounts and other accounts through Janet's phone that she allegedly stole after the woman died. There hasn't been any proof of that, though. I mean, at least she hasn't shown any proof. And listen, I'm a firm believer. If you're going to say something, you need to show it.
Scorpio C80 says, I must have missed a lot. I thought Tricia said she was dropping this case for the estate and not trying to get any money. Has she come out and said she lied, changed her mind? She certainly did kind of act as though, from what I remember, that it was all a done deal. But no, the hearing is tomorrow. She still is trying to be named the administrator of the estate. And she is also claiming that she is a creditor and that Beth Bee promised her house and 20% of her IRA. And that hearing is tomorrow.
What you need to prove it. Now, listen, if you don't have the documents yet or the proof yet, okay. But right when you do have it, you need to show it. Nothing is manifested from this. Nothing has come of this. She's just making all these claims. Also, why do you have this lady's phone? Please stop it. So like I said, none of that evidence or proof that Tricia claims has been documented. But what has been documented, which is public record through the Harris County District Clerk's website, she overdrew the company's accounts. She took more money than she was supposed to. People felt manipulated and love bombed and lied to into giving her money, when in fact that's not what the money was for, and that was confirmed by the other previous co-owner of the company. And what else is documented? Her attorney telling her to not answer when asked if she has a gambling problem or if any of her funds were used for gambling. I assume that Jolene Lenzer and Everyday with Jay will continue to cover it. I assume. I know they will. Too messy for them not to. And they're good at covering it. So if you would like continued commentary on this, feel free to subscribe to them. And before I tell you that your butt looks good and all that, I do just want to say, with the ethics of the true crime genre, whether it's murder cases or
Bruce the Moose says probate judge is not likely to put up with any nonsense. And yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that Tricia is all nonsense all the time. So yeah, I mean, it seems like how could she possibly win this, or how could she possibly slither out of all of this? But these people have a way. So until it's a done deal, I'm going to be on the edge of my seat about it.
white collar or blue collar. Is that a thing? Red collar? What are the collars? Any leather? I don't know. Who knows? Not me. But I'm new to this, right? So no matter what category of crime you're talking about or what you're covering or how you make this content, I do think it is important to conduct yourself in a certain manner that, yes, trolling certain people I think is okay. That's why I typically stick to people who are like con artists and schmetophiles. You know, because then I can roast them and be crazy with them, to them. Not crazy, funny. I control them because they deserve it. But when it comes to like people who, okay, you don't know if you believe their story and their family member passed away from mysterious circumstances, no thanks. I do think that it's sometimes okay, make a joke here and there as long as it's done in a certain way, but you can still have a personality while doing true crime content, of course, but I do think that you can't be scamming your audience. You can't be conducting yourself in this manner that I think that she does. And I don't like it. I don't think that it's okay. It's gross. It is very unfortunate that certain people and entities and creators and very reputable companies will maybe unknowingly, maybe they don't know how messy this woman is, but potentially unknowingly co-sign this person and give them more credibility than I think that they deserve. Let's put it that way. So in regards to web sleuths, listen, if you're on there and you're doing the good work, I love that. I say thank you. I say keep doing it. If you're, someone who is more like in it, especially with Tricia, and is more on like that type of inner circle, you're building up this person in this community and that platform, good, or because of your shared interest and love of justice. And you're asking all these questions. But are you asking Tricia questions? Are you questioning her motives? Because you should be able to, and she should be able to show you proof, which actually you can just look it up yourself since all of these court records are public. I will have those linked in my description box, a Google Drive version, or I'll try to find more of them. But like I said, there are other creators who show all of these court records, who go over all of them. And I don't know, man, I just think it's important, especially with this type of content and more serious things, to have the right messenger or the right spokesperson, the right face of the movement. And it's okay to not like someone. It's okay to not like their brooches, personality, or their past. That's okay. But when it's questionable current behavior has been shown to be a pattern, that's an issue. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little different, but I hope you enjoyed. I hope your butt looks good. I'm sure we're probably going to have in a few days some crazy commenters, maybe in the comments. So
let's go see. Let's go see. I love it when you're covering true crime grifters like Lauren, true crime and grifter McGrifterson. Tricia needs to keep her dirty paws off lonely, wealthy, elderly citizens. I personally stopped following her long ago. Thank you for covering this. I got harassed and absolutely abused when I dipped into a 2015 case on Web Sleuths. She absolutely has her subs, etc., do all her work for her. We've been on her ass a while now, and I'm glad you're covering this. So yeah, lots of popular comments. Yeah, so great job, Cece Suarez. She's always amazing. Does Othram pay Tricia a salary? I believe so. I believe that is the case now. Yes. This normal Idaho mom says, I'm still so bothered that John still has a license as a clinical psychologist. I hope the Nevada and Utah boards finally take action. If they don't, more doubt will be shed on the mental health profession. Yeah, I'm going to do a response to one of their videos in a day or two to Dr. John talking about, I think he's talking about like not a particular case, but the traits of these type of people who commit these types of crimes. I haven't seen it except for the little bit that I saw that Docket Decoder clipped some of it because John's talking about holding grudges, and then he clipped it together with John flipping out about Lori Hellis. So yeah, he does have a hearing. That's what I heard. And as far as I know, I can't remember when it is. I can't remember who. I can't remember who it was now. Maybe Subtext Press has all of that. Somebody does. Maury says, yes, Glam Dolly, her pension, we're talking about Beth Bee, her pension is investment-based stock market, likely tied up in petroleum stocks. In other words, it's a lot of money. Yeah, I would guess it is too. And interesting how the 20% stake only came out in the very end of that little affidavit there. Yeah, it's really good, Deanne. Dr. Dakota's last video. Yeah, he's getting in on the clip game, which I think is great, right? It's the greatest way to show these people in their own words, and also in these little bite-sized things that people who might be on the fence, who might be going, "What is all this?" will maybe look at a 5-minute video rather than a 4-hour live or something. You know, a lot of these lives can get quite long, and if you don't know all of the moving pieces, you might feel a bit lost or whatever. How did Tricia come up with 20%? Good question, Molly Colleen. Maybe she thought that was as much as she could get away with. I don't know. The whole thing is sketchorama, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, small digestible bits, right? Where you can actually see, like those. I made some videos of Megan where she describes Summer's interview, and then I play Summer's interview. And it's not at all how she describes it. But people don't go look at the interview. They just go, "Oh, Megan's so smart. She knows about these things." They don't go look at the interview to see if what she's saying is true. So I think it can be helpful. But again, it's a question of reach, right? Some of my shorter videos don't get that much reach. So I don't know. We just do our best. I wouldn't be surprised if it was over 1 million, says CH, just CH. Well, I mean, what, 20% is over 1 million, or the IRA is over 1 million? I would expect the IRA to be over 1 million. But then what do I know? I don't know. House prices, everything in Vancouver is so insanely expensive that it's hard for me to question to think, right? A house for $300,000. I mean, you could barely get in the housing market here. Never mind buy a house. No chance. You could get a down payment on a house for 300 grand in the neighborhood where I live, where I'm a renter, by the way. It used to be sort of more affordable. Summer's interview with Colby was great. If you haven't seen it, I can highly recommend it. It was very nice to. Summer is so much the opposite of Lauren and Megan. She's just absolutely a refreshing change. She's just very regular. She's not high on her own supply. She's just a regular person, and she's compassionate, and she comes across to me as very honest and very credible, and like she really cares about Colby, about her little nephew, her big little nephew. And like she's done the work and has continued to do the work to try to come to terms with everything that she has been asked to come to terms with in this life. And she comes off just as the absolute antidote to those two ghouls chasing after clicks and relevance with their lies and their scoops. Yeah, everything is crazy expensive in this US too. Yeah, I mean, but like we're talking about Beth Bee's house being worth 300 grand. Somebody was saying there's no house in Vancouver that you could buy for that money. No, she seems very humble. Yeah, Maury says Summer does not seem to be wrapped up in her ego. Yeah, the interview was fantastic. They were both, I mean, they were tripping over themselves to support each other, and to agree that even the things that they didn't agree about weren't really important, and to understand each other's points of view from, it's different being Laurie's sister to being Laurie's son, and that Summer knew Laurie for decades before Colby was ever even born. So how could they have the same relationship or the same expectations or whatever? It was just a very nice conversation. There were no big bombshells. There was no finger pointing. There was no anything. They mentioned people who were problematic, and most of us would know who they're talking about, but they didn't mention any names. It was just, it's they deserve to heal. Those people deserve to heal. John's hearing is about, I can't recall. I can't recall off the top of my head. I think you can find that information on the Hidden True Crime chat Reddit, subreddit, or whatever it's called over there. Mr. Bright Breakfast has a lot of the receipts for all of that. There's no way that Beth Bee's house is only worth $300K. Okay, so, well, I remember, I don't know. You see, I don't know. I'm just going by what I've seen. And also in the documents, I think that Tricia put in valuations of various things. And it was a pretty low valuation on the house. But honestly, I don't know. I don't have any actual receipts. I've never seen the house. And I have no idea what real estate prices are like in that part of Texas. So, just CH says, I remember looking it up. Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I mean, it takes a village. God, trying to keep all the moving pieces in your head for one person about this. Jesus. I do hope that Linda's lawyers are all over it. $500,000, maybe Carolina Hurtado. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I am sure that I need to go and feed my dog, and I've had enough of talking for a while. So I shall say goodnight, and I will look forward to seeing people tomorrow if you're interested in hearing more from Lauren Matthias, which is questionable at best. So thank you all. It's in the documents. That it's really easy to. I can put the link in the here. Let me get it. Let me just get it. Let me go back here. I'll get the link for the docket, and y'all can just go look at it yourself if you want to. Look at all these documents. Okay. Here's the link to get to where you need to get to. You're going to scroll down. I'll share this. You're going to scroll down to here to the smart search. And then copy. Here is the case number. And then it's all there. You got to hit the little CAPTCHA thing. And then you're in. Click on this. And it's all there for you. If you want to look at all of these documents yourself. If you click on the document, it just automatically downloads. So there they are if you want to see them. And thank you all for your kind support and for listening for so long and for sharing memberships and for being smart and knowledgeable and contributing information and humor and insight and all the rest of it in the chat. I always appreciate you guys so much. And I shall love you and leave you until next time. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks, M. Spacebird. Good to see you.